Uh, Hi everyone. Thank you very much for coming to this session at the University of Westminster. This is an online information session on our Master of Science in Entrepreneurship, Innovation and Enterprise Development at Westminster Business School. Just a quick introduction. I'm Dr. Luca Cacciolatti. I'm a reader in marketing. And I co-created this program with Dr. Anurag Bosley, now a reader in entrepreneurship. And we're here today with two of our students who went through the first cohort of our master program. We've got here Didier and Mark. Hi, guys.
Hello.
Hi, guys.
So here's a brief outline of our session. Now, this webinar is going to focus on students' experience here at the University of Westminster. So we'll tell you something about the life at Westminster Business School, and then we will delve more into details of our MSc AED, which is an MSc in Entrepreneurship, Innovation and Enterprise Development. It is a quite innovative program, and we'll talk about the experience of our students, in this webinar. And then if you're interested in our program, we will tell you also how to enroll. Then we will have a small Q&A session, because at the moment you're connecting from all over the world, from more than 15 countries. And so, we are really, really lucky to have you all interested in this program from so many different places in the world. So to start with, we see that Westminster Business School is part of the University of Westminster, a very old institution that started about 180 years ago. It's a world-leading research center. We are pioneering in technology and innovation in technology, in teaching, and we provide education that is really, really innovative because of the delivery. And we've been teaching management education here in London since 1838. And do you know, guys, that the patron of the university is the Queen of England?
Oh.
So, yeah.
We didn't.
I didn't know that.
That's
I
quite
didn't know that the name Westminster actually represents something very important in the social and political life of the United Kingdom.
Yeah.
It does indeed,
Yeah,
yes.
so
Because
that's one
it's
of
associated.
that's one of the attractions that I actually got the name when I know Westminster. I know that there
Westminster,
is something very unique in the life of the British.
Absolutely, Mark.
Yeah.
You're right. So Westminster Business School, we got a lot of facilities. We have a very diverse body of students. In fact, more than 100 countries are represented here at the university. And we have more than 100 sports clubs and societies run by the Students' Union. And we have all academics that have not only academic experience, but also industry experience. So there's a continuous association between research and real life in the real world.
Yeah.
And we have a dedicated postgraduate study room and a dedicated space for entrepreneurship
I
here.
use that all the time. It's like my mini office. So any work, like my assignments, or even if I have to do some personal work, I love going, sitting there and just working there. The vibe is so good there.
Yeah, it's like a studio, and I actually observed that it's not only entrepreneurship. Even in Westminster as a whole, each department has a special studio or such, in the way students can actually stay together and co-create, and then share some experiences. And you mentioned earlier the multicultural and the multiracial, representation of the school is something that I personally behold.
Yes, it's so diverse, the body of students, and so the culture is so rich. And we have great facilities, like we've got a fabrication lab, a fab lab, where you have 3D printers, laser cutters, robotic arms. And we also have a library that is open 24/7 during term time.
And also like they have like the silent study area in the library. So there's no disturbance, nothing. So sometimes when I really want to focus, I don't want any disturbance. I just like going.
And one unique aspect of the library service is the fact that you can actually also be in the comfort of your home, access the library from your computers. And in terms of the facility, there is this Linda.com, which I think is fabulous. I've never seen it
That's
anywhere.
right.
Yes.
Great resources.
It's a great resource. So I thought by the day I got to know about Linda.com, 99% of some of the things I need to do in the university became very easy for me.
Yes.
Also, the journal access, Emerald, is really helpful. Like, otherwise, you have to pay for it, but being a Westminster student, I can access it for free.
That's right. We have a great online databases and online resources where students can not only access academic journal articles and databases with information about the market, but they can also access different services that are provided through the university, like Linda.com, where students can learn new skills from programming to create musical videos to create different different things with social media, based on learning, through short courses provided through this great platform. And something that we cannot really emphasize enough is that London is our campus. So we try to provide a very supportive and creative yet challenging environment for our entrepreneurs to be.
Especially Baker Street.
Especially
The home of Sherlock Holmes.
But everybody knows that London is the heart of United Kingdom. And if you've been to United Kingdom and you've not spent adequate time in London, you haven't really been to United Kingdom. And they're now having such an academic center where on a daily basis you see the activities that are going on in London and at the same time studying, so the experience become unimaginable by the time you finish your program here, because you have known everything about London and as well as acquire your educational endeavor here.
I think 1 out of 3 young people, if you go and ask them, like, it's their dream to live in London. Like, to have a life here, a social life, cultural, meet new people, study in London. Like, I think everyone wants to do that.
And that's something that is amazing here in London is the great number of connections, that you can make to all the rest of the world.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, London represents everything you can think of. I, for one, I had worked in London for about 3 years before I started the program. But I can't tell you that because I live outside London and I commute into London every day. And as soon as I finish working, I get out of London back to my residence. This academic endeavor was made it possible for me to stay a longer time in London and know London better.
I love London so much that I came back here for my second master's, and I'm so happy that I'm here. Like, I had a choice to go to New York, Boston, but I was like, no, I have to go to London.
Yes, because London is really the connection for the rest of the world. Now, I'll tell you something about our program. We have a special ethos of our program because our program is really unusual and very special for its experiential learning features. Okay, so our ethos is centered on 3 elements. We try to develop, unlike many master programs in the UK, which are quite theoretical, we try to develop an entrepreneurial mindset. We try to develop entrepreneurial awareness in students, as well as entrepreneurial capabilities. Why? In order to be able to become entrepreneurs, successful entrepreneurs. And we do this by learning and putting together 3 different areas. We try to learn those skills within the area of entrepreneurship, within the area of innovation, and within the area of enterprise development. So we got a specific learning journey that we use to guide our students so that they can build awareness about entrepreneurship and develop their capabilities there. So if we look at the entrepreneurial journey, we can see that we have different stereotypical students, here represented in our example. We could have some students like Fernanda, who's 23 from Mexico, and she has a BA in arts and design, and she has a lot of ideas, but no much knowledge or relevant work experience to run her own firm. But her dream is to have her own creative firm. Then we have another stereotypical student like Ahmed, who's 24 from Saudi Arabia, and he has a BA in marketing management, and he already runs a family business, or he grew up in a family with a business. And so he has a general idea how to do business, and he's aware of his future in his family business. So he plans to develop some projects within his family business. And then we have Deepak, who's 32 from India. He's an electronic engineer, and he has already 10 years of working experience, and he thinks to enter small business consulting. So these are some stereotypical students that go through our learning journey. And obviously this program is also open to anyone who's interested in exploring entrepreneurship without having a specific business idea on their own. So we have this entrepreneurial journey that goes through different subjects in term 1, term 2, and term 3. It lasts overall 1 year, but it's split into 3 terms. In the first term, students learn something about the entrepreneurial mindset and the creation of opportunities. They start getting familiar with design thinking and innovation. They learn some skills for analytics, and they get familiar with creativity and innovation management. In the second term, they have subjects like enterprise development, entrepreneurial marketing, and entrepreneurship innovation in the sharing economy, concentrating pretty much on digital platforms. And then between term 2 and 3, there's really the core of the program, where students are able to develop their own entrepreneurial project. In fact, at this university here, in our program, we do not have a standard dissertation for master program, but indeed students develop their own entrepreneurial project, which can range from coming up with an idea, prototyping, or even really starting up the business or getting money from investors through different pitches. So would you like to share your experience on your entrepreneurial journey? Because your learning journey is pretty much personalized. So although there are some commonalities in what the students learn, the learning is really personalized and tailor-made.
Okay, so I'll start off with the first term. The first term was very interesting because we were actually introduced to the idea of entrepreneurship. All of us had a different thinking of what, entrepreneurship. We just knew the word. We just knew that we wanted to be an entrepreneur, but we didn't know how. How does it work? How in the long term it's going to be. So the journey started with identifying opportunities. And we also generated ideas. We were divided into teams, which we couldn't choose, so it was pretty random. But that was a good way because eventually in real life you cannot choose your own team members. You have to learn to work with who you are with. So that was pretty challenging, and it helped me, even though I worked earlier, but this was completely different because there were all different kinds of people that I had to handle. So it was also a real life experience. We did crowdfunding, which was very new to me. Coming from India, we didn't have anything they do crowdfunding, but mostly for charity and patients to help them become better. But here we were given a target, we had a time deadline. I'm working with deadline with teams. It was really interesting, and also we had data analytics. Luca, thanks to you, I love doing research, and I think that really helped. I really enjoyed my first semester.
Yeah, mine is quite an experience that sometimes I find it difficult to, use the right language or the right wording to explain it. In the sense that it clears some curiosity for me on how you set your mind into an entrepreneurship discipline. And one area that I think is fundamentally important in this program, I think anybody, because this has nothing to do with what field you belong or what field you don't belong. Rather, the whole environment where we live is full of all form of opportunities that we cannot see. From the beginning of your house to the bus stop to the train station, and you are surrounded by entrepreneurial signal that you just need to develop a mindset for you to identify that it doesn't exist. And that's the clarity that this program has actually, brought into my thinking, my ability to know that what I am seeing, standing right before me, is actually an idea that will lead to some millions of dollars or pounds activities. I will give you an example. I have worked in banking for about 10 years plus, and then I've always seen myself as an administrator on financial matters. I've never seen myself as an entrepreneur who can actually make a difference within the environment where I work. And until when I come here and I started the study, particularly when we started the course on entrepreneurial mindset, I started thinking backward on what I used to do in my office, and I began to see that this was actually an opportunity I could take an advantage of and translate it into something different. And that is how the idea started generating, and I started thinking of how can I validate this idea and know that indeed if I go through this direction, it's going to translate into something of value that will add value to the society and add value to the team I'll set up to generate those ideas. So it's quite a very, very massive exposure to go that when you go through these courses, you have a different perspective about the world and begin to see, like maybe you're applying and begin to see something has been around you did not see it, suddenly you started seeing it that, oh, you mean these are the opportunities for me to explore. It's quite a massive one.
And what you say is very interesting because this shows our audience here how entrepreneurial opportunities are everywhere around us, And as you say, we have to develop the right mindset, but we also have to say that you have to develop the way you're working in teams and leveraging on your resources, as Divya highlighted before.
One more thing that I really liked about the course is that there is theory, but entrepreneurship cannot be learned by just reading books or just reading theories and evaluating them. It has to be put into practice. And the fact that we actually went out and worked with startups, worked to raise our own money, it was an experience. So I think the courses had more practical knowledge than theoretical, which was very good. But coming from Asia, how they teach us over there, it's more like they spoon feed you. They just give you notes, they say learn it, they write an exam, write it, and then if you get good marks, that's it, you're good. But here is very different. Like you have to actually apply what you have learned, the theory, into practical life.
Yeah, just very similar to what Divya said regarding the entrepreneur cannot be learned.
Yeah.
Before I had this perception before that be an entrepreneur, you're born with it. There's an innate skills or competencies or talent in you that nobody can learn. But I got it wrong to the extent that the awareness, your environmental awareness, you need to be very sure of it. And also know that an individual cannot pursue an entrepreneurial activities. You have to form a team, and the team need to be properly motivated, and the team have to buy into the idea and the vision that you are pursuing in order to really, really translate it into entrepreneur. That is some of the clarity that this program has actually brought into our thinking and our reasoning and our total view of how entrepreneurship.
What you just provided is an amazing insight on your learning journey. And how does this learning journey happen? What is the learning mode for our learning journey? Well, we got different ways of learning those skills and develop those capabilities and create this kind of awareness about entrepreneurial opportunities so that we can shape our entrepreneurial mindset. We do it through a very diverse range of learning modes. First of all our learning is based on team learning and team coaching. So you don't really have the student that works independently on books and so on, and there's no really the traditional lecture as such. Everything is taught through team coaching and team learning. So you always work with teams to the point that some of you grow such strong bonds that you even go on holiday together, don't you?
Yes. My team, we had this thing that we used to come late for a meeting. So me and another friend, team member, we were like, okay, whoever comes late pays £10 as a fine. And we noticed that people started coming on time. And then, but they were still, of course, they were latecomers. And we collected £50 by the end of it. And then we partied at the end of the semester.
Oh, that's
So
very,
yeah, we have
very
actually
nice.
created a really good bond, and we hope to work together in the future.
Yeah, the potential for co-creation is quite very helpful, and especially as to guide us later in life. Because from the beginning, one thing about the program is that it's been so practical, and from the beginning, you know that all the companies we dealt with were actual companies that were
Yes.
into the business.
Yeah.
You remember the garment company that we dealt with when we started? We visited the garment company
The Westminster
and the men garments.
Men's archive.
Yes,
Harrow.
Yes, the men's archive.
And
Yeah,
Harrow.
Garment
garments,
archive. We were there and we saw what they were doing, and we gained a tremendous experience on some aspect of activity that we never really thought could result into a business reality. And then when we went to Athens, there was a whole lot of bonding, and we got familiar with a different culture, a different tradition, different language, and then see how they think business, how they coordinate their businesses. I think the Athens trip was the icing on the cake.
In a while we will tell them all about it.
Yeah, let's give that to the end.
So, talking about the learning modes, these are examples of all the practical activities that we use to teach students how to develop those entrepreneurial skills. And this happens, through continuous work with mentors, companies, and they actually work in teams on several projects. And by the end of your master, you have already collected a huge number of entrepreneurial projects that they end up straight into your CV. And we have different reading resources. We have learning contracts where the student agrees with the teachers, what are the objectives and the goals for the learning. We have mentors following you, and
look at before you finish. Let me just even add one more point on that teamwork, because that teamwork is very, very crucial. It's very central to the learning and the competencies that we are taking out of this place. I used to be somebody that liked working most time alone. Yes, I like working alone because I can't really tolerate, people's coordination, discipline, or whatever. So I like doing things alone. So now here, I was compelled to work with people. Otherwise, I don't get the marks. So I have complained several times, and the teacher said, "Look, Mark, this is deliberate. Learn how to work with them." And after some time, when it became inevitable for me, and I know I couldn't do anything, I actually started learning how to work with people. And then by the time I saw the results, it now occurred to me that in spite of all the nuances of it, at the end of the day, we were better off because then we were fighting in a team, and I found out that every individual, regardless of whatever shortcoming, has brought some new idea that it's not within the other team member. And by the time we put all those ideas together, the achievement goes beyond what 5 people could actually achieve in a real sense.
And the feeling is really empowering, isn't it?
Exactly. So the learning is now there that, look, you have to work in a team, you have to learn how to work with people, and also see people as a resource that has something to offer in a collective endeavors.
That's right. And if I can build on this, I want to highlight what Mark just said, because the individual and self-regulated and team learning component is very strong. This happens also through different networking events that we host here at the university. But the balance between the individual work that you do and your contribution to the team, is a very important component of this program.
Yes, I would like to add something. I was working before I joined the program, but my job was very restricted to sales in an airline company. But when I started working here in a team, I noticed that I was, of course, doing good in sales, but I also had several ideas of creativity, marketing. So I actually didn't have one single role, but I was able to, do other things as well. So I could expand. So I could find out, like, I was actually good at other things as well. So
Yeah.
it was a good opportunity that I got to get to know my skills more.
That's right, because it's a journey of self-discovery as well. And the part of the learning in this program is also action through very interesting business challenges that are all local. And indeed, for every year we organize an international business challenge every year in a different place. And this year we've been to Athens in Greece,
Great.
working, collaboratively with very interesting companies, and in spite of one visit to an olive oil mill,
The Institute of Mining, Shipping,
Institute of Maritime Studies.
Maritime.
Yeah.
Yes, what we've done, our students in different teams have been working on 4 projects with 4 companies. You've been working with the Institute for International Maritime Studies.
Yeah,
You've been working with a hardware store called Somidis.
Yeah.
You've been working
Wine.
with a wine cooperative in Paeania, in Attica.
Yeah.
And you've been even working with a food bank from a local city council in Nakopoulo.
Yeah.
Now, what happens is that throughout our program, we have a strong emphasis on social entrepreneurship, because this is an underlying theme in the whole program. So there's a very strong component of social entrepreneurship, because we really believe that no matter what you do, in entrepreneurship, it's always an element of social entrepreneurship. Would you like to tell us more about your experience with the Institute of International Maritime Studies, which is our partner at the MSc of Entrepreneurship, Innovation and Enterprise Development? And by the way, Lydia, you're there as a second person from the left in the picture. You can see you with sunglasses there.
So yes, Institute of International Maritime Studies was our client. We were the only team that was given the project, and their main goal was how to get more students. So it was very nice working with them so closely. We also built a great bond with Nikos.
Yes,
Nikos, right? Yeah.
Yes,
He was
the
really
director
nice.
of,
Yes, and he really loved our ideas. We in fact even did a mock design for his website, how to improve, how to get more clients, and he also said he wants to work with us in the future, and I'm yet to send him a mail with our future ideas. So yeah, it was really nice. It was really good.
Yeah, we worked with a company that's into oil milling, as in olive oil milling. And then one striking thing about the company is the fact that they also have their backward integration in the farming, in the olive
producers.
Yeah,
Yes.
their farm.
We all the olive farms and olive
And
groves.
then they bring in the raw material themselves. So the company has been always operating locally, domestic supply for domestic market, and we are able to explore the opportunity for them to expand their market internationally. And then we particularly gave them a guideline on how they can use advertising and global marketing approach to make their product or their brand become well known by branding their bottles and so forth. Their operation before was to manufacture in bulk and send to
commodities
distributor. And we discovered that in between that, there's value they are losing if they had created their own unique brand and then produced to the market. So they were very happy with us, and it gave them a signal that these guys have really learned a lot of things, because it was not an area they were looking at before. We were able to compute how much they will be losing if they were not doing their own direct branding and sending goods outside. Because the opportunity was very massive for them to expand what they are doing beyond the domestic market. So it gave us a very good rating when they see the strategic plan that we put in place for them, which is basically about marketing and business expansion.
And this is amazing, because this is an opportunity for the companies that work with us, with our smart students. And this is a great opportunity for our students to learn new skills and be exposed to different realities. And but this is a master program, so there's also some assessment of your work. So how do we give marks? How do we assess students? If we don't have the traditional way of teaching, with classes and exams, So if everything is experiential, how do we assess students? Well, we have a diverse number of tools, that we use here to assess students. We assess both theory and practice. We have different forms of courseworks and literature reviews and book reviews, but we use also portfolios of evidence where students gather information about their activities. We have learning contracts where they set goals for their own personalized learning, and we make you keep a learning diary. That is very important for self-reflection. Yeah, and then we assess you through business challenges and critical evaluation reports, and then ultimately your entrepreneurial project. And we will come up to the entrepreneurial project in a while, because it's really worth mentioning it, because you will be able to tell our audience, the exciting things that you do as part of your entrepreneurial project. And can you tell us something about perhaps your portfolio evidence and the learning diary?
Yeah, I think the approach to assessment here is such that you are able to synthesize learning with theory and practice. And then, especially when you do reflection, the reflection is not just about what you have learned. The reflection is just, trying to combine what you have learned and how that interacts with the theory and how the practice, have come on. So it gives you an opportunity to even critique what you have learned, whether they are in line with the theoretical aspect of the course, or there is a new idea that you need to inject into it that will make it useful for future learners and so on and so. So I think that as some of assessment. And one aspect of experience, from my previous learning was such that I do a class learning and then come and write the exams, and then I forget about everything. But because of the infusion of that practical touch, it's very unlikely that you're going to forget what you learned. Yeah, because you learned something, you put it in practice, and then you sensitize it with the theory, and then the way it internalizes into your brain and your body, I think it's not something comparable, whatsoever. So that has been my experience in the learning approach, the assessment approach, and then the overall learning experience that we take out of it.
Yes, personal reflection becomes very important for entrepreneurship, because of the diversity of the type of skills that we have to develop. It is very important that students find their own way to set their own goals and learn, against those goals, and then we find a way to assess them.
Yeah.
Yes.
At first, when I was told to write a critical reflection, I was like, okay, how is that going to help me? All of us were like, why do I have never written one? It was like new. And then I realized as I started writing, I got to know that I could have done things differently and how that could have helped. And also when I read theory, the literature, it also showed that what other people have done and how they've succeeded. And maybe I could adapt that into my practice now. And I actually did that in the next semester or my next project, and it showed good.
Yes, and part of the assessment happens through business challenges, where the students are really actually working with real companies in solving their own problems within a limited period of time. And we got here in the slides some pictures from one of the business challenges that you took part to in Greece. Here they had to find some solutions for a hardware store in Athens. And would you like to comment perhaps on the business challenges, because they're very, very interesting. But since they're real world situations with real companies in markets that are real, with real money, and there's really a lot of pressure, for delivery.
Yeah, for the business challenge, the idea is to work with either an already established institution or a coming up startup, work with them, and then apply some of the concepts that we learn in our entrepreneurial journey and see how you can bring it to bear to help them to identify, first of all, to even identify where you think the company is having a challenge, an entrepreneurial challenge, and see how you can apply that concept to help them. The overall intention is that at the end of the day, the, the business you are working with should be able to see how your experience and skills have added value, to what they are doing. And I'll give a very, very good example of that. We worked with, at one point we worked with a company called Providers Cheese. They're into cheese manufacturing company. And they make an artisan cheese, not really the common cheese that we see everywhere. And it was a business that they started as a hobby. They didn't mean to actually go into real entrepreneurial activity.
Yeah, like a real business.
It's a hobby because they have worked in cheese company before. They were consultants. The owners, two of them, were consultants in cheese company, and they love cheese making. So they started making it as a hobby, and they now developed into business. But the business was growing, but they did not realize that it was growing, that there's a need for to put in place a proper structure that will help them to actually cope with the growth of the business. It was when we got there and we worked with them by way of business challenge that we're able to identify that at this point where you are, the business is no longer a hobby business, but this is a real business, and this is what you can do in terms of the type of entrepreneurial structure that you could put in place to support your business, grow your business, and have the potential of creating even an international brand for yourself.
And what you say, Mark, is very, very interesting because the same process of starting up with an idea, assessing the market, and validating your idea, and then attracting funds and starting up. Really, this concretizes then in your entrepreneurial project.
Yeah.
In fact, you guys have been developing, all of you very, very interesting and exciting entrepreneurial projects as part of your master program.
Yeah.
And this happens in term 2 and 3. So, a very long time is dedicated to the development of your own personal projects. Would you like to tell us something about your project? Because I know that you have a very exciting project that nobody could think of in terms of a normal dissertation for a normal master program.
Well, my project kept changing from day one. I just knew that I wanted to be independent. I wanted to do something I'm passionate about, something that gave me job satisfaction, something that made me wake up excited on a Monday morning and go to work because that's very important. So yeah, my project just kept changing and changing. But yeah, I think I am there. I know what I want to do right now and I'm working towards it.
Excellent. And you, Mark, developed also something very interesting.
My project is quite an interesting one, and every time I talk about that project, I have to link it back to some of the concepts we have discussed. Social enterprise, which gave me a product. My coming here gave me a product view of what social enterprise is all about.
And something important is it leverages on your previous experience.
Yes. Then 2, social enterprise, and 2, platform innovation on platform technology. And the moment these 2 concepts came to my mind, I started thinking back of what was my motivation while I worked in financial institution. I'm somebody that I'm always interested in helping small businesses as part of social interest. Because I believe that when small businesses they grow, they will be able to help the economy to grow, and there will be employment everywhere. But I noticed that when I worked, most of the financial institutions were not interested in that area of business because it's not an area that can bring a quick win in terms of financials. So, but when I came here and I studied, I understand the concept of social enterprise and also see how technology is being leveraged, to transform businesses. I began to think how I can link it to an area of my interest in banking, and then I was able to come up with what I call a platform technology for lending to a small businesses. And that is the project I'm working on now to deploy it back in my country to help the small businesses that I really love to help.
And this really is a practical application that's got a really strong impact on the real world.
Yeah.
And so this was an overview on the amazing activities that we developed here at this MSc in Entrepreneurship, Innovation and Enterprise Development at Westminster Business School. Now, what we do, we have a great demand for our program, and we have limited resources. So unfortunately, we have to make really a huge selection of students. And in fact, you were among the few top students that we selected, for this program. Now, for this round, we're really looking at around 60, 70 students, and we already have more than 500 applications. So I think we will have to reject many students. So if you're interested in our program and you show passion, determination, and you think you're up to to a new challenge for your life, then I hope we will see you here next September. And so what do you have to do if you want to enroll? We got a system here in the UK for enrollment. You have to go through UK Pass, or there's a new website, a new postgraduate UCAS. And you have to simply log into the system and carry on with the application. Now, what I tell you, we have two postgraduate applicant officers. We got Joe and Cassia. Joe and Cassia are two amazing people that we collaborate with as part of our university. So our program strongly relies on them. And they are here in the room with us. You cannot see them because they're out of the screen, but probably you can hear this. Yes, you can hear their voices. They will say hi to you, and maybe I invite Joe here to the screen just to give you a couple of directions on the UK Pass website application. Let's say hi to Cassia and Joe.
Hello.
Hey, Joe, can you join us, please, just to quickly talk about the application process?
Yeah, hi there. Yeah, so what you do is you go on the course page for entrepreneurship, you click through to UK Pass, and then you create an account for UK Pass and just follow all the logical steps to complete your application. Yeah, it's as simple as that. But make sure you have as much information as possible, like transcripts to upload and everything else, so that you can get an unconditional offer if that's possible. So make it as full as you can at the point of application. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Joe, for that. So here's a brief summary of our session. So we explained something about our innovative program, highly experiential, and we had the witness of our students here talking about how engaging it has been for them and how exciting they found it. We've got now a Q&A session because we got a lot of questions, and more questions are coming through. Unfortunately, we will not be able to read and answer here all the questions that we're receiving now, because there are just too many of you at the moment connected online from so many different countries. And what we're going to do, we have some questions here. We try to answer the questions as many as we can, and then we will perhaps close this webinar. We maybe a statement from our students, maybe a final comment on what did they learn, how was their experience, and what they would recommend to new entrepreneurs to be. And I got here the closing comments. So let's look at some of the questions. First of all, I want to thank Inam from Pakistan, Landin from Gambia, and Filippo from the UK, and Kalcha and Hendra from Indonesia. which are commending our webinars, and they really look forward, to join us at Westminster Business School. Thank you guys for your support. And we got some questions here. Daniel from Ecuador is asking, does this program include business model innovation, finance, e-commerce, trading, management, risk investment management subjects on the courses? Which kind of projects are being developed in the current students for the MSc? Now, perhaps can we answer this question? What was your experience with business model innovation, finance, e-commerce, and management in general? We do not cover risk investment management. Okay, this is a highly specialized for a finance program, but we definitely cover all the rest.
Yeah, so we we got to know a lot of different kinds of business models, and we adapted them during working with our startups on our own projects. The finance part was covered in our own individual project, like we were asked to do financial projections, how much would we spend, revenue, income, trading, management, risk investment, no, not really.
Yeah, beyond the specific sector that you mentioned, one thing we've learned here is to know what the modern business model is all about, especially in the modern time where technology is actually behind every business you are doing, where you have platform technology that serve as an intermediary for exchange of goods and services in e-commerce. I'm sure that you heard about about eBay, about Amazon, and so on and so forth. How are these business models are developed, and then what does it hold for future? And how whatever business sector that you find yourself in, how you can leverage technology to meet the modern demand on customer, to gain customer insight, gain customer experience, and provide unique customer experience. These are some of the things that we have actually learned across all the sectors: finance, e-commerce, trading, and management.
Thank you, Mark. And we got here a question from Amjad. Saying, how many words is the final project? Is it like a dissertation with literature review and primary research? No, Amjad, the final project is not a dissertation. The final project includes an element of writing up, because it is an academic program, but you have to create a case study. Okay, there are different components. One component is a case study that you have to write up about your entrepreneurial journey, and your business idea and how you developed it and so on. And there are different elements to the entrepreneurial project. So it's not like a dissertation. In fact, it is way more practical than that.
Yeah.
As part of your final project, you may have to prototype your project, your product, or you may have to search for investors, if you want to start up, or you have to devise your business model.
Every student was able to develop an entrepreneurial project which reflects what you want to go and do, what you really want to set up, and then whatever case study you're going to be writing will be based on that project. So there are more or less like two components to it. On one hand, you develop a project. On the other hand, you give an insight on what led you to developing that project, some of the lessons you have learned and the difficulty you encounter and how you want to make it better. So it is a total experience, so to speak.
That's right. So the project is really personalized. Now, we have students doing different types of projects. We've got also here a question asking what type of projects students are developing, and all sorts of projects, we get
different kinds of projects. It can be a product that you want to import, export. It can be an application. It can be a service. It can be just anything. And we have our lovely tutors to help us and guide us, because I was so confused, but thanks to all of them that I am getting onto the right direction.
Yeah, to give you some examples, of some of the projects, we have really a variety from one student setting up or coming up with the idea of setting up a particular type of restaurant, to another student setting up a jet airline for a specific country, with another student bringing innovation to the food processing industry in Central Europe. We have another student developing some activities for the protection of the rainforest in South America. We have all sorts of social enterprising related businesses. We have a student that is creating, a network for gay practitioners, to work together in a sustainable way towards, opening up the world towards being more tolerant, in the society. We have all sorts of projects. We have some students coming up with applications.
Yeah. If I just add to it, once you are coming for this program, just have it behind your mind that you may not really coming to do anything that is new totally. From my observation in this program is to the effect that there is really no new business, or it's a new way of doing business, right? For instance, we have transportation companies all so many years, but it's Uber that now made us realize that you can actually do transportation business on your application on a digital way. We always had bookshop. It was Amazon that know that we can sell book online, and so we are not reinventing the way. Rather, we are trying to do what had been in existence in a different way. If you look at it that way, then you begin to really appreciate what the entrepreneurial principle that is being taught here. Looking at what is already around you, and see what value you can add to it to make it look different and make it, give a unique customer experience or consumer experience. That's what I've come here to learn.
Definitely, absolutely, Mark. Do we have still time for a couple of questions, Joe and Cassia? Yes, okay. So very, very quickly, a couple of questions, and then we can hear a last comment from Didier and Mark. Last questions. Okay, after this degree, it's asking Abigail, after this degree, what type of job can one secure if they're not ready to start up their own business yet? If you take part of this program and you go through the whole program and you graduate, you will have accumulated a huge experience in working with small businesses and startups. So you will have quite a rich CV full of projects, okay, and then you will have the possibility of working maybe in consulting for small businesses. You will have possibility of securing perhaps some jobs with some small businesses because of your understanding of the processes within the small businesses. And so this program is not necessarily for the students who want to start up only, but anyone who's interested in entrepreneurship overall. One last question. There are several questions on whether there are any scholarships available for this program. I am really sorry, but we do not have scholarships for this program at the moment. In fact, with very high demand, and unfortunately, we have to make a selection of students. And so maybe we can have a final comment from Didier and Mark about their experience.
Okay, so what did I learn? How was my experience? I would like to say that, as Jane says, as entrepreneurs, always take initiative, learn from your own mistakes, be open to everything, and stay positive. My experience was good because entrepreneurship is not something that you can learn. It's something that you have to experience to grow and know more about it. And my recommendation to new entrepreneurs to be is that be enthusiastic about what you want to do, positive about life, and follow your passion and always do what you want to do to get the job satisfaction.
Fantastic.
For me, I think what I have learned much more than any other thing, the fact that I learned how to become aware of my environment and then being able to see what are the opportunities that abound within my environment and how I can translate those opportunities into something that add value to the society and add value to my environment and add value to me. And then, most importantly, I've also come to learn the fact that for you to achieve that, you need to learn how to work with people, you need to learn how to tolerate people, you need to learn how to draw the resources from of the people around you in order for you to achieve. So, my advice or suggestion to those who are planning to become entrepreneur is that you have to become much more aware of your environment. You have to see things that are working within your environment that you believe could be better, could be done better, or could be improved, and how you can improve life for others. Is when you improve life for others that your own life will be improved. So this should be some of the things that engage your mind and your thoughts in order for you to become a good entrepreneur.
That's great. I want to thank, first of all of you for joining us from pretty much anywhere in the world, from Africa, so from Southeast Asia, from Asia, from South America, Central America. We got North America and Southern and Northern Europe. So I want to thank you all for attending us, our webinar, at the different times, from different time zones in the world. I want to thank Cassia and Joe for their continuous support in running these webinars and for all the support for the postgraduate applications. And I want to thank also Mark and Livia for sharing their experience with you all. And we look forward to seeing you here soon, this coming September. Okay?
Good luck.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
All the best.
Goodbye.